how to maximize your profit on each trade. Hi, it's Charlie giving you Wednesday's video. I hope you're very well. And so what I'm going to do is go through a few scenarios with you on how you can actually, from a technical perspective. Last week I did a video on how you can maximize your profits on your overall account by adding to your account over time, and so that was one way of doing it. And obviously there's the technical way of doing it as well. So how can we go about doing it? Let me just bring up a pen. So one way would be to maximize your profits is if you can have an entry here and let's say a stop loss is here. So the tighter the stop loss, that means the bigger the position size, doesn't it? So the tighter the stop loss, which means the bigger the position size, which means the potential bigger risk to reward to wherever your take profit level is. So that would be one way, a very simplistic way. But again, you can't have a stop too tight, otherwise you'll end up finding yourself getting stopped out all the time. So if you've got a strategy or method that you're using, have a look at where do you place your stop loss, and there might be an optimal level. You might be finding, for example, that you're normally having your stop loss, for argument's sake, down here. And if you go back and do some back testing, you might find that, actually, the amount of times that my stop loss is stopped out down here, I could actually have my stop here, might get a couple more stop outs, but then my position size is bigger, which means my risk to reward is much bigger. Okay, so that would be a simple exercise of just using a backtesting situation to see whether your stop losses are wider than they need to be. So you could do that if you're using a more mechanical approach to your trading. Another way, if I and we've got three ways here. So another way is if we've got our entry price here. Another way it's a simple way here, is to maximize your take profit. Are you taking your profits too soon? You might find that you're constantly coming out, let's say here, and if you go back and back test, if you've got, this is if you're trading in a mechanical fashion, of course, that you have a very static sort of entry, stop loss, take profit sort of zone. But if you have got that type of strategy, then certainly have a look and say, well, could I widen my take profit, and is there more meat on the bone? So again, going over a load of past trades, back testing, could you find that, yes, my stops were too wide and maybe my take profits weren't far enough? So have a look. So it might mean you have a few more losers where it gets up to where the old take profit was and then rolls over, but you might find that you have a few more losers, but actually there's all the winners, they get all the way up to this level, so you're overall more profitable. So that's another factor that you can look at, and certainly even if you're discretionary trading, you might find that I'm banking my profits based on my gut feel or whatever. I'm jumping out of my trades too soon. That's it's the oldest one in the book. So that's the oldest one in the book, is taking the profits too early. So do have a look at that. You might find you're manually doing it and just jumping out based on emotions too soon. So have a look at that. Of course, you need to address that. Even if you are mechanically doing it, do make sure that you might find that you're leaving too much on the table anyway. And then the last one is a bit more technical, and that is, so you've got an entry over here, and you've got your stop loss down here, and you've got your target price up here, let's say. And you might have a method for when you move your stop up to break even. Now, one thing to consider is that you've got a target price up here, and this will really only work on trades really that have got a minimum of a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. And I'm just throwing that out there, it might be more than that, but a minimum of 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. Again, it depends on your strategy, how you trade, and how soon you are able to move your stop up. But do consider, so you've got in at this point here, and then price is moving up for you towards that take profit. So at the point once you've been able to move your stop up, whether it's to break even, it might even only be halfway. Is there a way of then adding to the position? So you've now reduced the risk or taken the risk to nothing on your original entry. Well, you rather than sitting back and pretty and now just thinking, I'm now on a risk-free trade, you could, in fact, say, right, okay, we're up here now. I can put a new position in over here with a stop loss, let's say, down here. Still only risking, for argument's sake, it might be 1R or half an R or 1% if that's what you risk, or 0.5% adding into your trade, but there's no risk on the initial entry. And then seeing if you can then and see if that then runs up to your target price, what you've now done is you've massively increased your overall profitability of the trade, because rather than just running that original position, you've now added to it and you're now getting more out bang for your buck. So that's something you can, again, if you've got a mechanical based strategy, that you can look at that sort of thing to say, right, okay, at what point do I normally move my stop up? You know where your targets are that you're using. Is there a way to then add to it at that point? Just some food for thought. Again, this is just throwing it out there, these scenarios here today, because everybody's got different ways of trading. You might be buying breakouts, you might be buying pullbacks. It doesn't matter what or buying reversals. It doesn't matter what your strategy is. It's just a case of having a look at these things and seeing, and because a lot of you might find it won't work with your strategy because you might have a different sort of approach to moving the stop, or the take profit isn't far enough away to warrant adding in, and so on and so forth. But I'm just throwing it out there to give you something to consider, because some of you might say, do you know what, I should be looking at this, because that's actually quite useful information that I can go back test some of these scenarios and see if there's something you can do with it. I shall leave that with you. Take care for now. I'll see you on Friday for Friday's live trading.